Okay, so today we want to talk about hotel quarantine. As you know, a few days ago, Justin Trudeau had announced that there will be a mandatory hotel quarantine. So there are things that we know, and there's a number of things that we don't know. So we'll begin with what we know. What we know is that travelers, they don't define who are travelers, so it could be anyone, could be us, could be not be us, we don't know. Travelers coming into Canada will require to be paid, will require to pay 2,000 Canadian dollars in order to quarantine at a hotel that is pre-approved, transport, and from my understanding, meals delivered. Not a lot of information on exactly where that money goes, what the name of the hotels, what type of meals you get, what kind of accommodations you have for the meals, what they do with medical concerns. I'm not entirely sure, but that's what it is. It says all travelers. It does not specify whether or not that includes extended family members, whether or not it includes COPR, spousal sponsorship. It doesn't say anything. It doesn't say if you can, if you're coming in together, if you can quarantine together. It's from my understanding through various sources that even the transport minister does not have all the answers, which is slightly concerning to me. However, it is not unexpected, and that is actually one of our strengths here, because things appear to be in flux. Now, as of Sunday, we know that the sun destinations are being canceled coming out of Canada, but we do not know exactly when the hotel quarantine strategy will come up. Now, for context, when we had succeeded in our extended family exemptions back on October 2nd, 2020, we did not know, and I don't think the government truly knew, how it would look like until October 8th, 2020. And even then, there are a number of things that needed to be fixed. Given that, I suspect that they'll be the same here. So our overriding goal is to have family reunification be deemed essential, same as truck drivers or medical personnel, because from my understanding, they are exempt from the 3-day hotel quarantine. If family reunification is considered exempt, therefore the family member can come into Canada, quarantine safely with their family, who will also quarantine for the full 14 days, and therefore will essentially be back at where we were at the end of last year. That's our ideal goal. Another part of the goal is for those who have to leave to reunite with family and come back, those Canadians should also be exempt from the from the $2,000 quarantine. The reason we say this is because it is inequitable. Not a lot of people are able to afford that level of price. In addition to that, family reunification should be considered essential. Our byline right now is discourage travel, not discourage families. So I understand completely why the government of Canada is taking these steps. There is a perception that travelers are causing a lot of trouble for the COVID numbers. Now, according to their own data, 1% of domestic COVID transmission is because of traveling. So what that means is 1% of the people who get COVID in Canada is 1%. 1.5% of people who travel into Canada are bringing in COVID, but then they're the ones quarantining for 14 days. Even if you add up those two numbers, which isn't exactly how you do it epidemiologically, but even if you add up those two numbers, we're dealing with a small fraction of the cases, however, being scapegoated as a large amount. Yes, I'm aware that The Bachelorette is allowed to film in Jasper. They probably have a very good quarantine plan, and they're probably being paid. The production company is probably paying a lot of money. So the angle here is not necessarily why is The Bachelorette allowed to be filmed in Canada. The question here is what happens to those who don't have Bachelorette money. One line of workshopping is essentially, so the government of Canada will allow those looking for love to reunite, but not those who are in love. So that's a bit of a challenge there. In terms of our process moving forward, we're going back into the media mode, which is something I had not wanted to do. I had not wanted to have such a big public fight over this, but it looks like that's where we're going. We're also contacting a lawyer who our goal is to create a framework for the first couple people who are subject to this. We want to know about them and we want to take legal action with them. So once again, to all those watching, we have a new forum, facesofadvocacy.com/forum, facesofadvocacy.com/forum. Put all your stories, including upcoming travel plans, in there, whether or not your extended family, spousal sponsorship, or COPR. We need that there because we will contact you if the story fits. We'll contact you if you're about to approach the border after they implement the hotel, and will contact you to do this fight together. We have to remain organized in order to succeed. And so just flooding the Facebook group with questions, not having read the group's rules and everything, is not helpful. The forum has a little bit more leeway. Post your stories there in our standardized format, because we need to know who is coming into Canada so we can organize and rally back. Whether or not we put you up in the media, whether or not we put you up with a lawyer, we're not entirely sure, but we need details. We need an index of people. This cannot be done by simply writing, hey, anyone have any help with this? No, we need to be organized, straightforward to win. So it looks like we have some time before it happens. And so our director of operations has been doing a fantastic job with getting quarantine on the books on our Thursdays, as well as our temporary residents on our Tuesdays. It looks like we're going back to old school reunification Thursdays, where we need to fight back on this. There are a number of key points. Number one, it's inequitable for the cost for family reunification when compared to previous, where you didn't have to pay $2,000. And two, Canadians' mobility rights are challenged, not the foreign national. The Canadians' mobility rights are challenged by having to be charged to actually come back to Canada. When this hotel thing was discussed, I actually assumed that Canadians would not have been required to do so, but they are. The Charter of Rights and Freedoms protects mobility rights. Therefore, this is an infringement upon mobility rights. So we need all of this indexed. We need all of this so we know who we're dealing with, who we are, so we can approach this in a smart manner. The fighting back on the violation of the Charter is something that is not done lightly, but it is actually occurring here, which is very unfortunate. I believe that's why they are so hesitant to bring this up, and they believe that this is how it works. Now, people might be saying, oh, Australia does this, New Zealand does this, China does this. I can only say, and this is not as an expert of Chinese or New Zealand or Australian law, but I do not know if they have the same Charter of Rights and Freedoms and their same protections for mobility rights that we do. For that reason, any Canadian or permanent resident protected under the Charter of Rights and Freedoms should not be subject to this. I'm more hesitant to go in this direction because quarantine hotels would be helpful for those who are not following quarantine. But the fact is, family reunification is not travel in Mexico for fun. It's an essential thing. And so if we are required ultimately to do hotels, it should therefore be free for family reunification. So we'll be drafting a letter on Thursday to deal with all of this. We'll need to push it out together. We need lots of people. Right now, what can you do? Number one, go to facesofatvocacy.com/forum, fill in your section with details following our guidelines exactly. We need to know who we are. We'll contact you if we need you up front, if in a more public position in the fight. Number two, sign our petition. So petition 3130 is an immigration-related one. It's about protecting the right of family reunification and also replacing IRCC systems and culture. And then number three, keep your eye out every Thursday in the Facebook group for Reunification Thursdays. So these three things are what we can do right now. Fill the forum, get your friends to fill the forum. Two, sign the petition, get your friends to sign the petition. And three, keep your eye out for Reunification Thursday and get everyone mailing their MPs. I'm very unhappy that we're in this position, but we are. And so let's keep pushing. Maybe we'll be able to stop it from happening. Maybe we'll get it exempt for us. Maybe we'll get it free for us. But family is essential. Discourage vacations, not family. Family over fear. Please add all the links in the description. Where to put our stories in the forum. There's a whole section for extended family and a section for spousal sponsorship and a section for COPR. So put it in there and then make sure to mention that it's the $2,000 hotel quarantine that would be preventing you. Okay, and then let me put the last section of our Facebook group, which if you have not yet, please join our Facebook group. Please like our links on social media. That includes Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn. We want to make sure that we have as many people there to communicate with you guys as we can. So let me just get these links up. Okay, let me go through and see from the start the questions that have come in. Yep, we're trying to get exemptions for all family reunification. The team is wonderful. They have brought us all the way here. Okay, just more things about cost of flights. I cannot fight the cost of flights. I'm sorry. People crossing my land by hotel quarantine that hasn't been announced yet. I think I read somewhere that the ultimate goal is to do so, but I'm not too sure why land has not been put there. People are saying the charter doesn't apply when there's a pandemic. Is that true? So I'm not aware. This is as it was explained to me. Emergency acts can override the charter in those circumstances. So there is a method in which to do that. I suppose the difference is, do we take that line down or do we fight back? The charter cannot be changed to protect its citizens. The charter can be ignored, however, during emergency measures, from my understanding. That also doesn't stop us from pushing back. Can I change my username? I don't know. The question is, do I need an exemption to fly into the United States? We're not the U.S. side experts. I'm sorry, I don't know. There is a COVID-19 discussion group for relationships, and there is a Let Us Reunite page for the land border, but we're not the experts on the U.S. I'm sorry. From my understanding, there's no exemption process, and if they close the air border, there will be a significant problem for our U.S. members. Right now, we are focusing on the Canadian side of things because that is where we have to be. All right, so I'll try to keep better contact. So right now, once again, facesadvocacy.com/forum, put in your information in your correct section. Number 2, share the petition, get as many as you can. We've recently crossed like 1,500 people in 36 hours. I mean, let's hit it up as high as we can. Last time we did 5,000, let's do higher. And then the third thing is follow our social medias to be aware of when Reunification Thursday kick back. All right. All right. Talk to you guys soon.